rice cookers.
I am still waiting on a engine bracket, so I need to find some things to do in the meantime. One of those being tidying up the loom. I've already started by separating the coil wires from the main loom here, and then getting the cables kind of ran together through this spark cover here. And then underneath, we've got some crank position, oil pressure, and the solenoid for the VDC up there. So I've just got these wires zip tied in and bundled together, all out of the way, all nice and tidy. So this side of the engine's done. On the front side of the engine, we've got the loom we made for the alternator and the loom for the starter, as well as a whole bunch of other little bits of bullshit and sensors that I need to consolidate and zip tie together underneath. But before I get back to this, let's finish up what's up top. Here I have some coil packs. The spark plugs that are in here are still the original spark plugs. I'm not too concerned about changing them right now, just because I need to get the loom kind of laid out where it needs to be. So these will get replaced. But in the meantime, let's get this stuff on here and see what sort of space we're working with. These might be wrong, actually. Probably totally full of shit. Yeah, full of shit. It's this one down here. That allows that. Cover up all those. Extracted a stud from the K20 I have under the bench and installed it in here. And using the stud from the other motor over on here. There we are. But now I need to move on to gearbox side and under the intake manifold, where there's a hell of a mess. Okay, so I have tidied up these few lines that run through here for the starter, the knock sensor, and the alternator. I've had to strip back all the rest of the wires off of the throttle body, which is the stuff here, and all the stuff for the injectors, which is this stuff here, and the ground for the injectors. I've built a bracket here, comes off the side of the head, which I'm going to use to hold this loom up where it should be, where I think it should be. I might end up hanging it instead of holding it above, but either way, that's where that's going to route. Pulled the starter and the alternator wires and ran them back out through and just dropped them underneath. That's what those two wires are here. One's the starter, one's the power wire for the battery. They need to be rerouted too, because everything was just kind of tangled up in a really shitty way, because I kind of just threw it all together to make sure I had all the right plugs and blah, blah, blah. So now it's time to do it right. I've also started drilling a hole in the middle here so that I can try and pass through the plugs for the injectors. So the loom will go all underneath the intake manifold and then come up through here and then go into the plugs, and it's ground. Just making everything a lot tidier, especially cleaning up this area, because I had a junction of wires piled up here and down there. So I've drilled out a few holes there. We're getting pretty close to the size of this plug to fit in there. Now I'll just get the Dremel and clear out all the stuff in the middle and smooth it out, and we should have a pass through for a loom. All right, we've got this hole here all dremeled out, and it fits the injector plug through it. It's tight, but it fits. So now I need to run all the injector loom, so all four, and the ground wire up through here. Got a go-danger ran through the hole there. First one through is injector 1, because it is the longest on the loom. So I'm just going to tape it to this end and pull it through. There goes one through. I wonder if I can put them through without the coat hanger. Let's see, what's the next one? There goes 2 of them through. Oh, this is gonna be close. That's 3. Ooh, man, that's close. Oh, there we go. Oh, the last one to come through is the ground. Got the ground mounted back on here and all the injectors plugged in. I'll pull this back out a bit, which is the loom for the injectors. And injector 1. And now I've got a mess under the intake manifold. Fantastic, but at least it's a hidden mess. I got the loom, excess loom clipped up here, and the rest of it bundled together underneath the manifold. Up next, we need to figure out where to run all of this stuff for the throttle body. Intake air temperature. I need that kind of in a good place so that I can run it into the intake pipe. I guess as long as it can reach underneath somewhere here, that's probably where I'll run it. Yeah, all right, let's get this sorted. Let's zip tie all of this together into a nice tidy bundle. That's got the weight off of this plug, and then let's zip tie it to that. This one down here I can plug back in is the idle air control valve. I think that's looking a lot better than before. Before the loom was all just kind of sat down in here and bundled up, and it was running up top along here and just messy. So I think with that we'll be able to at least make this engine bay look halfway decent. Let's move on to the charge harness. Alright, here we are underneath the intake manifold. We need to sort out the tidiness of this charge harness. First thing up is probably remove these old clips that I'm not using, like these. Let's quickly get these off. Just feeding the charge harness up from the alternator. That was actually the starter motor harness, not the alternator charge side. This is the alternator charge side, and I'm going to follow up the same path, which is underneath the throttle body. I'm going to use these P-clamp, hose clamp type things under the manifold to hold these charge harness wires. So we'll start with the starter motor, like so. Put that something like that. There we go. That's got those two held nice out of the way. Not going to get snagged on anything. Cool, I'm quite happy with that. I think that looks good. Now let's head back up to the top. Back up top, here's the throttle body. Here's the coolant line running to the heater matrix, and here's the 2 lines that I just mounted underneath the intake manifold. They're going to run down along here, and then probably up to here somewhere, and then over to the fuse box and the battery. Looking much better than before, so that's gonna be a wrap on this tucked harness. I think it's looking pretty decent. There's not much more I really want to do with it. There's not much more that can be done with it until we get some more parts. As usual, still waiting on a rear engine bracket, but it shouldn't be too far away now. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you if you've subscribed and liked and all that good stuff, and see you on the next one for more kswap goodness. We're not too far away from being able to start it. Cheers.